Greetings, everyone. It is begging for change, Ricky Point, filling in again for our brother Kevin. He wasn't feeling too good today, so filling in for him again this week. Have a conversation with the family. We'll give him one fair warning coming in. What we'll be talking about tonight is recognizing real leaders, recognizing real leadership. What does that look like? Sacrifice. What is sacrifice? What does sacrifice look like? Just want to say hi to everyone that's coming in. Allison Rico Cowboy, I didn't hear your name.
Hold on, Rick. They said the sound's off. Let's see. I guess not. Hold on. Can you guys hear me at all? Oh, they said it's distorted. It's not off.
Hello, No Name Rose. How you doing? Thank you for continuing to support the show. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. Nemo, again, Riri, if you didn't hear me earlier, DID, DR Hodges. Alta Rick, I said hi to you earlier, but I don't know if you heard or not. Okay, so Riri just confirmed that everyone can hear. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to talk about recognizing leadership. What is leadership? What does it look like? Also, sacrifice that comes along with, being a leader or being in that leadership position. So, again, I just want to say hi to everyone. Okay, Riri said sound is perfect. Okay, so thank you for that, DID. And before we get started here, let me just take a look at some of this information here. Again, just filling in for our brother Kevin. He's not feeling well tonight, so we just gonna do the show and we're gonna have this conversation. Give me one moment here. Let me just check my message here. Okay, so there's nothing there. So again, just want to say hello to everyone that's coming in. Just want to quickly go over how we can get our brother Kevin some assistance as he recovers from his surgery and as he recuperates and as he also is trying to get the things that he needs in order to fully recover. Hello, Shundell. Okay, so again, you can donate at the GoFundMe page, which is Help Defeat Stomach Cancer. You can give your donations there. Also, Patreon. You could do a reoccurring donation to the Patreon page, and that's going to be Kevin Wesley. I think the reoccurring donation is like $5 or $2, depending on what level you want to have that to reoccur. Also, we could do PayPal at Kevin Wesley 1. If you want to donate there, and preferably just so our brother can get the funds as quickly as possible, we want to use Cash App or we want to use PayPal. So I think Cash App, if I'm mistaken, Josh, please correct me, but I think it's $ Kevin D Wesley 1 on Cash App. So also bdevolution.org, support our brother with getting the Born Winners apparel. A lot of merchandise there that you can also support our brother and get something in return for your contribution. Okay, so again, Coach Renz on his website, U as in umbrella, R as in Robert, popcorn.com. Use the coupon Sending Love to Kevin. Okay, so he's gonna donate 50% of your order towards what our brother Kevin needs in order to continue with his recovery. So you can go to urpopcorn.com and order some popcorn from Coach Renz, and he's going to donate that 50%. Also, with the raffle, okay, Tamasha Hunter, Vanessa Dixon, on the Facebook group page, they are putting together. I think, well, Tamasha is putting together the Royal Mababu. I always have trouble with that, so I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, Tamasha. Raffle, and that's gonna go until October the 31st. Okay, so $5 for one entry. You get 3 entries for a $10 donation. Again, you can do it through Cash App or PayPal. And then what you want to do is just screenshot your donation and then post it to the page to be entered into that raffle for $150 Egyptian relaxation bathing basket. So the aromatherapy, all the candles get you right. So just go ahead and enter into that raffle by donating to our brother. So let me just kind of look at the chat here and see who we have in here. Real interviews. Hello, Chris Blanks. How you doing? Kevin's doing fine. He's just, he's probably just a little weak at the point. So, doing a lot of talking. Probably going to take a lot out of him. But he's in the chat. So if you want to ask Kevin anything, the Truth Factory, that will be him. So you could I guess chat with him in the chat back and forth, so he can kind of let you know how things is going with him. So before we kind of get into this, what I want to do is I posted a video on my YouTube page, and again, my YouTube page is begging the number 4 change. Go subscribe. We're gonna put out a lot of content as my ideas go forward. Okay, so yeah, as my ideas go forward, and I, just whatever I can think of, I'm going to be putting this information out, not just with religious content, but also the information that we just to kind of break the mindset of our religious thinking, and also just valuable information. I'm doing real estate right now, so as I learn real estate, I'm going to, of course, relay that information to you. Also, I don't want to forget that Kevin Single, Too Woke, is actually available, and that information is in the chat, and it is available on iTunes. Please go support the brother. That is a great song, some great lyrics, some great information in that song. So we definitely want to support our brother there. Okay, so before I get into the topic for tonight, which is recognizing real leaders, recognizing leadership, and the sacrifice that comes along with that leadership. I posted a video on my YouTube page that was titled "If Heaven Exists, I would not want to go." Okay, so and then a sister left a comment on the page, and her name is KKD. Okay, and I indicated to her that I was going to respond to a comment that she made on that video in on this stream. Okay, so basically what KKD indicated is that she was her friend's child was in a car accident, and the child walked away without a scratch on him. Okay, so and her friend contributed her child not being hurt in this accident contributed to God, which many people do. Okay, so but I don't know if her friend is aware of this. I'm pretty sure she is. But when she contributed this accident and her child not being harmed in this accident to God, KKD actually had a personal situation that took place with her where 3 of her family members actually passed away in a car accident, and she wondered her because her friend said that God has a plan for her kid's life. Okay, and this is why her kid wasn't hurt in the accident. But it made KKD think, why was my family members killed in this car accident? So God didn't have a plan for their life. So I indicated to her that I was going to touch on this briefly before I get into the topic. And what I want to kind of point out is because I have a personal situation that kind of goes along those lines. My mother was driving drunk, and she killed a lady in an accident. Okay, so my mother, who was in the wrong, driving drunk, survived this accident, but this innocent lady died. Okay, And my mother, and again, I don't mean any disrespect to my mother, but she's just not a good person. I call things the way that they are, whether it be about myself or whether it be about anyone. She's just not a good person, and I think her life will end with her not really doing anything significant in her life. She hasn't done anything significant since the accident. She hasn't been an advocate against drunk driving or anything of value. Okay, with the years that she has been alive after this incident. She also, after the incident, a few times made mention to almost kind of bragging about killing this lady. Okay, so you kill someone by accident, but then you brag about it. So in this situation, we have to just start thinking. Okay, so it would have been better if the situation would have been in reverse. Okay, you're driving drunk, but the other person dies. Okay, so how is that fair? How is that just? And if there's a just, merciful, true God, wouldn't He either allow that person who was innocent to live? Okay, so I think so. So again, also I was hit by a car when I was like 4 years old. Okay, I, when I was in religion, I probably said, you know what, God saved me. You know, I mean, I was a kid. I got hit by like a car's probably going like 40 miles an hour. Boom, just like hit me as a 4 year old. Okay, so lost my kidney, or lost one of my kidneys, lost my spleen, and I survived that incident. But this is the thing. When I think back on that situation, it was all my survival was circumstantial. It had nothing to do with some God. So God is gonna let me live so that I can put my foot in his throat right now. So if God did exist, okay, it doesn't make sense. Also, God would like keep me alive so that I can go to hell when He knows I'm gonna like years later not believe in Him when I could have died as a child and went to heaven. So none of this stuff makes sense. But my survival was circumstantial because there was a hospital like 2 blocks away. So if I would have gotten hit by this car 10, 20 miles away from the hospital, I probably would have died. I probably wouldn't be here talking to you right now. So it's just circumstantial. So we people in religion attribute all of these things to God, and it really doesn't make sense. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is go into again, and I just want to take a moment to say hello to some of the people in the chat. Terry, how you doing? Nemo, Young Elder Truth. Of course, Kevin is giving his shout outs in the chat. Eden, how you doing? KDD is in the building. Patience, classic. Okay, so we're gonna get into the topic. Okay. So, what made me think about this topic, and I'm thinking about like leaders, because sometimes we either will there will be somebody who will represent us, okay, in the media, and we know a lot of these people are chosen, they're picked. We never they become our leaders by default. Okay, so and then sometimes what we'll do is we'll either ride with them, or we'll either dismiss them depending on their ideas and their ideology. Sometimes they may have one or two things that we don't agree with, but everything else that they represent is great. But because of this one thing, or this small thing that goes against, I guess, your values, or your ideas or your thoughts, you just cast this person aside, and you kind of throw away everything else that they have to offer. So my first like point with this, just recognizing real leaders, is just basically what are the characteristics of a leader. So in the chat, if you could, I just want to hear your thoughts on this. So, what are some of the characteristics you think a leader is? Okay, so just I mean, courage, bravery, just honesty. Like, what are some of the things that you would consider to be a true characteristic of a leader? Okay, and then KKD said her 11-year-old daughter is watching. I think that's just amazing. Again, I'm a parent that my son watches my videos. He knows what I'm doing. He knows what I believe. He knows what I represent. and I think that's very important. So Eden indicated consistency. Okay. That's a very important attribute. And I kind of touch on that later, man. Sundell said being fearless. I love it, son. That man, that fearless. Okay, so you gotta be fearless. Charisma. Okay, but you know, charisma can go both ways. Like I think the charisma is needed to kind of draw people to you, but that charisma can also be used to manipulate people. So, but that's a good attribute. No name Rose said trust. Exactly. And some of these leaders, they violate your trust, and they have deemed themselves to be untrustworthy, but we still let them back in the fold. I'm gonna touch on that later. Sundell says transparency. Exactly. What do you have to hide? Okay, where are the skeletons? Like if I ever became a leader, I'm gonna tell you everything about me. So you can't. There ain't gonna be no surprises. Like I'm gonna tell you all the dirt, all the pain, all the hurt. You gonna know everything about me. So when they come out with something in the media, they're gonna be like, well, you know, Rick already told us that. Like that's nothing new. He told us that 10 years ago. So Sundell says being humble, intelligence, and common sense. Kara, let's see, commitment, courage, Eden, knowledgeable, humility. Okay, patience says humility, and that's great. So how you gonna be for the people when the people can't even get close to you? They can't even touch you. They can't even talk to you. Okay, so and I know the bigger you become, the more difficult that becomes. But we're never gonna lose touch of what the objective is, and we're never going to lose touch of whatever we started and whatever we set out to do. Like just because you get some type of publicity or some type of platform, now you want to shift and you want to go off into a different direction. So humility, humble, empathy, not forceful. Okay, Kevin indicates not being forceful. Okay, and Kevin in the chat, can you give an example of what that means? And I'm just gonna kind of communicate what I think it means. Not being forceful is like not being like a dictator. Like you just you have to do what I say. You go. This is the plan. I hear what you're saying, but I don't want to go that direction. This is what we're gonna do, and I have the final word. So I think that's probably what Kevin means by being forceful. Eden said being a servant. You are there to serve the people. Okay, so Riri says study. Okay, so in integrity. So a lot of these things are going to be synonymous. Okay, so but all these attributes that people brought out in the chat is exactly what a leader should have as far as his character, his or her character, because we don't always want to associate leadership with it being a male. Okay, and I think we lose. Society has kind of put that in our mind that a leader always has to be a man. Okay, women are very capable of leading, and they should lead. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with women leading, and we got to kind of get out of that frame of mind. Okay, so let's see here. So let me kind of go into my notes here, man. Let me see, because I didn't. All right, so okay, so a leader is also a good characteristic of a leader is like he wants you to be where he is. Okay, so or he wants to teach those under him so that he could, if anything were to happen to him, and when you talking about going forth to struggle for change, okay, and I don't want to talk about the leader in a company or the CEO. I'm talking about like an activist, like a community leader, maybe like a revolutionary type of leader. And I do apologize, like for not, I guess, categorizing like what type of leader I was referring to. But even running a company, a lot of those characteristics that were mentioned in the chat, you're gonna have to have those type of attributes. So these things are gonna be indicative of any type of leader, whether he be in the community, whether he be a leader of a company, whether he be a supervisor or a manager. He's in a leadership position, so he's gonna need to possess these characteristics. Thank you for the donation, Brian. Thank you for the donation, Terry. Again, these donations are much needed to help our brother recover. So definitely want to thank everybody who has given in the past and who's going to give tonight. So thank you very much. And then and all of those who are going to give, maybe like on PayPal, if you know, because we're not going to know. So if you gave on PayPal or Cash App, just you know, put it in the chat that you did make a donation through PayPal or Cash App, so we can definitely you know, highlight that for you. Okay, so again, a leader is not going to be superficial. Okay, so he's not going to be, he or she. Again, I'm gonna try to keep that in the forefront of my mind. Because everything is spoken of in the masculine in America. So leader is not going to be uh, worried about superficial things. Okay, he or she is not going to be worried about
Hey, what's up, my
in
friend?
a fight
Alex
for
here.
freedom.
And in a
Okay,
moment,
a
I'm going to
leader
show you
is
to the
not going to be
office here
worried
at my
about how
home and
fly
pull out my computer
he
and
or
show you
she is.
exactly
Okay,
what
sometimes we could
colors that
be
I want
more
to
concerned
build.
about being fly than we are concerned about being free. Okay, so it's not going to be superficial. Okay, so let me just, because there are probably are some Christians in here, I want to kind of go into your book real quick, okay? Because I'm gonna touch on the book just a little bit, because I have to teach you the Bible because you don't know it, okay? And then I have to teach it to you because it's been taught to you wrong, okay? Because these are stories that have messages, just like if you watch a movie, the movie has a message. You watch a TV show episode, it has a message. Okay, so these stories have messages. So, and we can actually learn something from these things. It's not necessary, you don't need it for your life or for your salvation, but there are some points, there are some I guess morals to some of these situations that took place in this book, that I'm gonna like highlight. But then also I'm gonna just like reframe your thought pattern about some of these things, because you've been like taught to look at these characters a certain way. Let's just take Moses for example. Okay, Moses was like a coward. He was a coward. Like you have to understand, it's not going to take me 40 years. Okay, I'm not gonna grow up in the king's house or the ruler. Let's say Pharaoh. I'm not gonna grow up in Pharaoh's house. Know that I look like all the slaves. Okay, and just because it's comfortable in Pharaoh's house, it's cool. I'm kicking it. I don't have no hardship. I'm gonna sell my people out just so that I can continue to live in comfort. Now, when I'm 40 years old, I'm middle age. I've been kicking it for 40 years. Now I'm gonna bite the hand. Look at the immorality in this character. Okay, I'm gonna bite the hand that feeds me. The person, the household that took me in, that nurtured me and took care of me, and allow me to be a part of this household for 40 years. You have obligation to your Hebrew slave brothers, but you also have an obligation to Pharaoh's house. Okay, so because you stayed in Pharaoh's house this entire time, so now you're gonna kill one of the Egyptians, okay, and you're gonna lie.
Hang on a second, Rick. I think your sound went out. This is the one that y'all said had issues earlier, though, so we'll see how this works. He only has one microphone now. Nope, so that's distorted. Hang on a second, guys. Hang on, guys. I'm getting Ricky situated.
Okay, mic test. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you should be good. Should be good now.
Can you hear me now, Josh?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Garland say YouTube cut his mic.
Nah, it should be good now.
Okay, we good? Okay, he's going in and out. Okay, I said cut his mic. Okay, no sound.
You're good now.
All right, so can you hear me, Josh? Okay, so people saying they can hear me now. Okay, cool. All right, family. Thank you for like just being being patient with us to take care of these technical difficulties. So let me just kind of go back in the chat, man. Kevin is probably gonna get out of the chat. Lee Sean is driving right now, man. So I definitely want to give a shout out to Lee Sean. He's probably not going to be in the chat because he's on the road, but I definitely want to give a special thanks and shout out to that brother, man, because him and his queen is always supporting everybody that support. If I forgot you, please forgive me. Okay, so we thank everybody for the support and the donations and just the love that you guys have shown me while I'm just filling in for Kev, because I'm gonna tell you what, like, I ain't never want to do this. All right. All right, so I'm gonna kind of just quickly recap just some of the points that I was making with just leadership and how in this book that we've been taught to look up to people. Can everybody hear me? You just Josh is still. Well, my bad, Josh, man. I'm moving the mouse and you trying to do your thing, man. Can't see the chat. Okay. So everyone says they can hear me now. It's like so good. Okay. To quickly recap. Again, we're talking about leadership now, and I talked about supposedly one of the like grandest leaders in the Bible. Okay, so this Moses character, and I just kind of pointed out like how he was a coward, how he stayed in Pharaoh's house for 40 years, knowing everyone knew that he was one of the Hebrews. He probably suspected that he was one of the Hebrews because he don't look like no one in Pharaoh's house. He looked like the Hebrew slaves, and you never questioned one time. It took 40 years for your conscience to kick in. It's not going to take 40 years for my conscience to kick in, okay? So if I was in that situation, before I kind of say what I would do in that situation, but let's continue to just discuss like what this character Moses did, okay? So we got movies about this dude. He this great person. Like I used to look at, I like, oh, Moses was like, man, he was a great dude. No, he was not a great dude. He was a coward. Okay, so 40 years in Pharaoh's house eating grapes, just under the AC, just kicking it. Okay, so his conscience kind of kicked in. Didn't kick in good enough. It didn't kick in all the way. His conscience kind of sparked just a little bit. He killed one of the Hebrews, which is kind of biting the hand that feeds you for the last 40 years. Lacked courage and the bravery to go to Pharaoh and like, look, I killed one of yours for doing my Hebrew brother wrong. Okay, because I'm a coward, I knew I was one of the Hebrews all along, but I just been kicking it in your house. He ran off like a coward, like cowards do. Cowards run off when trouble comes. In the time of trouble, cowards run off. Not leaders don't. Leaders stick around for the trouble. Okay, so this coward runs off. Okay, and has a child, has 2 children, and a wife. Okay, so for 40 more years, and we know this is just a story, but let's just look at it as if it was factual. Okay, for 40 more years, okay, got a wife, 2 kids. He ain't thinking about the Hebrew slaves. So he wasn't even going to come back until this make-believe God came to him in the burning bush, okay? So he would have still been kicking it with his wife and 2 kids, and you would have the Hebrew slaves would have still been in Egypt getting brutalized, okay? So that's not a leader, okay? So this make-believe God chose a coward to liberate his people. Okay, he also lied to the make-believe God, talking about he couldn't talk well, he was slow of speech, and he needed Aaron to go with him because he was a coward. Okay, so again, Moses was a murderer, a coward, just a terrible, despicable dude, man. So why are we looking up to these type of people? Let's talk about Abraham real quick. And Abraham and Moses, they both on my God's Ratchet Squad list. If you haven't checked that out, on my YouTube page, I got a series called God's Ratchet Squad. I got Abraham on there, Moses. Let's talk about Abraham real quick. The dude that God picked to start his people was a slave owner, married his sister. You know, I know it's Sarah, she was beautiful, she was bad. She like, God, she bad. I gotta have her in my life, God. She bad. I need her. Okay, married his sister, took his slave and had a baby with her. It wasn't consensual. Doesn't say he had permission from the slave girl to have a baby. So forced his slave girl to father this child. And then after fathering the child, he threw him away, sent them away. Okay. So he went to the make-believe God to ask if it was okay to send her away. But he did not go to the make-believe God to ask if it was okay to sleep with her. He just slept with her and then gonna ask God if it's okay to send them away. And sent them away with absolutely nothing. So this man was a slave-owning, despicable person, and this is who we want in our family, and this is who we're arguing over. The Hebrew Israelites are arguing that we are. No, I'm not one of the 12 tribes of Israel. I don't want to be, okay? Because these were some terrible dudes. Absalom was burning for his sister. Now that he slept with his sister, he despised her. Like, these are people that are in this book that we have no issue with that at all. Okay, so again, not indicative of leadership, but this is who you're taught that this God character chose to be, to head his people, okay, and to lead his people. So no characteristics. Okay, so let's talk about also about leadership. Okay, so let's talk about when you do something criminal as a leader. Okay, so as a leader, you might fall. Okay, you might make a mistake and you might do something wrong. I don't expect anybody to be squeaky clean. Okay, so but there's certain things that as a leader, if you do, you just gotta sit down. You've proved yourself to be incapable of leadership. You just gotta like sit down, and we have to be okay with telling that person to sit down. Yo, bro, you gotta sit down. Like, I'm the type of person, like, let's say if I was in a leadership position, okay, and I did something that was unbecoming. I did something that was disgraceful. Like, you wouldn't have to tell me to sit down. I would just sit myself down and be like, you know what, guys, I fell off. I did this. I'm sorry. I let you down, but I gotta, John is going to take over for me because he, you know, I already groomed him. He's good. I failed. You know what I mean? Like you ain't got to kick me out of the movement, but I got to take a back seat. I got to go do things in silence. I got to go sweep or something. I don't know, do something. I can still help out in the movement, but I can't be the face or the leader anymore. Okay, I got to let somebody else do that. So again, also, there's some people in our community that we are looking up to, okay? And we're looking up to these people when they've done despicable things in our community, okay? And we now look up to them. Now they changed their lifestyle. Their lifestyle is different. But in changing their lifestyle, they never made retribution for the damage that they did to the community. I'm talking about some of these drug dealers, okay? Some of these drug dealers who are now no longer drug dealers. So all of the drugs that you put into the community, all of the and then the residual effect of the drug dealing. Okay, now I'm not just talking about people hooked on drugs, but the young men who are on the corners beefing over territory, killing each other, that's a result of your drug dealing. Okay, the mothers who are addicted to drugs who can no longer feed their children, that's a result of the drug dealing. Okay, the prostitution that comes from drugs, that's a residual of the drug dealing. All these other social ills in our society, in our community, as a result of drugs. And I don't want to be too hard on the drug dealer, because we know the number one criminal who put the drugs in the community in the first place. Okay, so we know these things are in our community. A lot of us have gotten caught up in it. Okay, and I'm not trying to shame anyone. I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad. Like, a lot of these things, gangs, drugs, all of these social ills are in our community. Okay, and I'm not saying that if you've ever been involved in any of these things that you can't there's no redemption for you, because there is. Okay, what I'm saying is you can't just like become prominent now and just act like that never happened. You got to pay retribution. You got to be like, this is what I did. I know I caused damage to the community, so this is what I'm doing to try to make up for that. Okay, because I was out of my mind at that time, because a lot of us are out of our mind. Okay, so another thing with leadership, not just in our community. Let's talk about the world stage. Okay, when you got the number one leader who is got so much time on his hand that he doing things he ain't supposed to be doing, Bill Clinton. Okay, I'm just saying, like, I see this dude everywhere, and I'm like, you're not ashamed. You ain't got no shame. Like if he came to one of my events, I wouldn't be like, where you going? Like, you need to go that way. You can't come in here. Like, I don't even know why you would even want to be seen in public, because you are the number one person that children are looking up to. You committed this act and like shamed your wife, shamed your child. Okay, like, as a man, like, I wouldn't want to be seen in public. At that point, I don't care how long ago it was. I'm just gonna be so sorry about that. Okay, so you're the number one person that the world is looking up to, and you do that, and we just excuse and we just let you back into the fold like it never happened. And that can't be. We gotta be like, dude, I don't hate you, but like, you can't come up in here. You can't be seen with us. Like, you gotta go back there in the back somewhere. Like, wash dishes or whatever it is you're gonna do. Like, you can't be all up in the photo ops or whatever and just all up in the mood like ain't nothing happened. Like, we can't tolerate that. Okay, let me take a look at the chat, man. Let's see. All right, man. So we got some. Oh yeah, there's no reciprocity. Okay, yeah, hey, Rue, man. None, man. None. All right, so again, all right, so we touched on the drug deal. Okay, so we know that's definitely not indicative of a leader. Okay, so let me tell you a quick little story real quick. Okay, grew up in the projects. Okay, so I seen drugs, seen gangs. A little small little city, but gangs and we deal with the same thing everywhere. Okay, so one thing that kept me away from gangs is that I'm not gonna do what you want me to do. The person who's telling me to do things, I'm probably, one, smarter than you, and two, like, I go hard with everything I do. Like, some people look at me as an extremist, but like, I try to put 100% effort in everything I do, and I already looked at my future and knew that I would either end up in jail or I would be dead as a gang member. Like, that was my only, those were the two options I saw for my future. And I was like, okay, don't want to go to prison for killing another brother and don't want to end up dead, like, early. Okay, so I was like, gangs is out for me. Okay, so drugs, okay, drug dealing. I'm like, I'm not gonna sell drugs to my people. Okay, so like, just so I can have nice things. And I understand, like, man, we struggling. We trying to pay bills. I mean, but it's just some things, man, you just gotta have some principle about it. You just gotta be like, nah, I can't do that. Okay, so again, a lot of these people that have done this and have, brought all of this detriment to our community. We got to call them out on it. We got to be like, okay, what are you doing as retribution? Like, are you paying restitution to the community for the hurt that you've caused it? And a lot of us, a lot of these people have not done that, but we still uphold them. And again, let me touch on something real quick. And this is something I thought about with the failure in our community. Like some of us, I was able to navigate that by, like all it probably could have took was just one traffic stop at the wrong time, and my whole life would have been totally different. Okay, so I can't think that I'm so special and I'm such an exception that this life that touches a lot of our young people, it's not for me. Like I couldn't have been one of these statistics out here as far as a prison record, a drug dealer, gang member. All of these things have been open to us. So it was just luck. That I didn't end up, somewhere different. So my whole thing is with me is I can't walk away and think that just because I'm okay with every other brother not being okay. Because what happens is sometimes you're successful. Sometimes you're successful as a result of all these other brothers out here that's failing. Okay, that they've been to prison, that they've served time, that they not here anymore. So you're successful because when you apply to these companies, they need you just to show some type of diversity. So you might be the dude, like I might be the dude. I'm clean cut. I come in there shirt tied, speaking well, and they're like, oh, we want you. Okay, because we need some people like you that, to look like you. So I'm successful as a result of everyone else's failure. Okay, and I can't be okay with that. Like we can't be okay with that. Okay, so that's another thing that we have to look at. Another thing is just like a loyalty to our group. We as a leader, okay, and this is what I look for when I look for a leader. I look for a leader who's willing to say and talk about uncomfortable things. Okay, because sometimes you can't have a leader. Now it's good to be politically correct and be able to have certain types of dialogue that's not like utterly offensive, but sometimes, man, you gotta have that uncomfortable conversation, and sometimes you gotta speak truth, and a lot of leaders, so-called leaders, don't want to have these uncomfortable conversations. They want to be we want to be everybody's friend. We want to advocate for everyone. We have to have some type of self-interest. Okay, we have to have some type of self-interest because we are in trouble financially. We are in trouble economically, like trouble. Okay, all you got to do is just go do some research on the average black household's net worth. Okay, and like where we are as far as on the economic scale, and you'll see that we at the bottom. I'm out here in Arizona. We're about 4 or 5% of the population out here. I go to the bank or I go to the store. There ain't nothing but Mexicans in there. Again, I don't have anything against people with other races or anything like that. But what I'm saying is other groups look out for themselves. We don't. Like I've talked to other people, black people who are descendants of the people that built this country, okay? And they won't even hire other black people. I get it. Like we carrying a bag of trauma. Okay, so I understand, but to just categorize everyone that says, you know what, I will only hire a certain type of black person. Like they just say, I don't hire black people at all. I don't deal with them. You know what I mean? So, and that's wrong. These other groups take care of themselves. They have self-interest. We don't. Okay, and your self-interest as a leader. Okay, when these other groups want to come and partner with us, it has to be more than inviting me to a fiesta. Like you gotta do more than that. That can't be the initiation. Like you have gang members who require for you to kill somebody in order to be a part of their gang. But we just let anybody in our group, and they don't, with no initiation, they don't have to bring anything to the table. They don't have to show us that they are for our group. We just let them in because we want to be friends with everyone. Okay. Again, back to the self-interest of being self-interested in your group. Okay, so you just can't be. It just can't be a handshake. Okay, I need you to shake up some things. I don't need you to shake my hand. I need you to shake your people up. I need you to shake your policy up. You know, so advocate for your people, for my people to be in a better situation. Okay, so that's what a real leader is going to do for you. Okay. Okay, so now what I'm going to talk about is sacrifice. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about sacrifice and what that looks like. And again, I'm going to go back to the book. And if we got some Christians in here, which we have a few, they sneak in here and want to check out what Kevin is doing. So we definitely going to speak about their book and what their book tells them in regards to what sacrifice is, why they're unwilling to make the sacrifice. So again, so leaders just can't play nice, and they can't just say what everybody wants to hear. They got to have the guts to say what needs to be said. They have to have the guts to do what needs to be done. Okay, so back in the 50s and the 60s, bombings didn't deter our leaders. Shootings didn't deter our leaders. Lynchings didn't deter our leaders. We can't stop watching football. I didn't mean to say that. I mean to say we can't turn the TV off. We can't stop sending our kids, to make $1 million. When in a couple years they're gonna be broke. They body gonna be broken and their bank account is gonna be broken from sports. Okay, so while everybody else gets rich off of your kid, and that house that they buy you in the neighborhood that you can't afford, because you can't afford the taxes, you can't afford the insurance, you can't afford the upkeep. So when your athlete that buys you that house goes broke, okay, and they put the video up on YouTube and they get 1 million views of this athlete buying his mom this home, they never come back and show the video of the home for going into foreclosure because she can't afford the insurance, the property tax, and none of that, because he can't subsidize her anymore because he's broke. And he done bought you a house in this neighborhood that you can't even afford. So no one shows that video. Okay, so let's talk about sacrifice. Okay, so this book talks a lot about sacrifice. We know the ultimate sacrifice was the make-believe son of God. Okay, so he died for you. Okay, so this Jesus character was a revolutionary. Okay, so because he came in to overthrow this system, because the priests and the scribes and the Pharisees, they had gone astray with what they was doing. They wasn't offering up the sacrifices right. They was being all detailed and minute with the law. They was practicing the law to so much that they didn't even use their common sense in practicing the law. So he came to overthrow that. Okay, he came to overthrow the system, overthrow again the system. I'll just say the system. Okay. He died. Okay. He didn't talk about it for a little bit. And then when it was time for him to get on the cross, he was like, oh, hey, man, God save me. I'm about to get up out of here. Come and get me. No, he saw the whole thing through. He saw the sacrifice through. Okay, so we have to understand what sacrifice is. John the Baptist got beheaded. I'm going to teach you your Bible because a lot of y'all don't know it. Okay, Paul went to prison. Paul went to prison. Peter went to prison. James got killed. Stephen got killed. Over in Acts, he got stoned to death. Okay, so all these people was sacrificing their lives, sacrificing, dying, going to prison, going to jail to preach this nonsense. Okay, and we know these are just stories, but I'm just going off of the premise. Okay, so when you need to change something, and it's going to cost you to go to jail. Okay, why don't you do what this book, follow the example in this book. Okay, when you got to make change, when you got to change the world, it may cost you your life. Okay, it's not pretty. You're not going to get rich from it. Okay, so and if you do believe in this book, it say he going to return to you 100-fold. If you give up everything, if you give up your house, your land, and blah, 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 he gonna return it to you 100-fold. So what difference does it make? And then if you give up your life, you get to go be back with your father anyway. So why you trying to stay down here on earth? Okay, so I'm just saying, like, we don't even follow this book. Let me tell you something about Christians, man. They, like, when you talk about teaching this gospel and putting yourself in danger, none of these people would be Christians if they had to. Why don't you go convert some Muslims? Why don't you go over to Iraq and Iran and teach this nonsense? You won't, because you know what? That your head will be in your lap, okay? Because you won't go over there and do it and think that this make-believe God is going to protect you. So they don't even believe in it, okay? And then the ones that do kind of believe in it and do make the sacrifice to try to follow it word by word, they do silly things like pick up snakes and get bit by snakes. You know, you go to church, like, if I went to a church where a preacher was handling snakes and he about to, it's on the program that he gonna handle the cobra today, I'm like, boy, we about to get out of church early today, cause pastor about to pull that cobra out. He gonna bite him on. You get home. And they're like, you out of church already? Like, yeah, pastor pulled out the cobra, bit him on the forehead. He dead. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, church gonna be over early that week. You see what I'm saying? So, but again, in your book, it says Paul got bit by a viper over in I think the last chapter, the chapter 4, chapter 27, chapter 28 of Acts. He didn't die. You know, Jesus said, you know, you could pick up serpents and they won't harm you. So. Again, you follow these things in the book. People say you're crazy. You don't follow the things in the book. So it's like a catch-22. But the thing is, my point is, why don't you make the sacrifice? Okay, and that sacrifice may cost you life. When they sacrifice those goats and sheep and lambs and bulls and doves over in the Old Testament, I know you got the scapegoat. I know about that one, but for the most part, none of those things came out alive. They died. That blood was shed. So sometimes sacrifice is going to cost you something. Okay, I'm not telling people to go out and be reckless, but what I'm saying is, like, sometimes, man, you gonna have to make a decision. Okay, and I'm willing to make that decision. So again, back to what sacrifice looks like and what it means. Okay, sometimes we are going to have to pay the price, and the sacrifice is for the long haul. It's not some short little thing. Again, I keep bringing up this point. The Montgomery bus boycott was over a year long. These people walked to work. They walked to school. They walked everywhere they needed to walk to. They had caravans of cars. They piled up in it for over a year. They didn't do it a week, 2 weeks, three weeks. No, over a year. And this was very police pulling them over, writing them tickets, like doing everything that they could to break this movement, and it didn't break. Okay, so I'd rather sacrifice and I'd rather die, okay, because we got to have leaders who are not afraid, okay. I have a son. I need to be here for him, but at the same time, if I get involved in a movement, and I know what type of movement it is, and I know I may have to see it through, and it may cost me my life, I'm prepared to pay that price. And I have to be, and I know some of us, we got huge families, and we got to think about the wife, and we got to think about the kids. But sometimes, man, you got to make a decision, okay? And you gonna have to, maybe that sacrifice is gonna mean you following that thing all the way through. Malcolm, he didn't get deterred by his house being bombed, his family in fear being killed. Malcolm got stabbed in the chest before he got shot in the face. He got stabbed in the chest. It didn't deter him. Okay, Medgar got shot in the back. Okay, and we can't turn the TV off. So we just have to understand what true leadership is. And let me just kind of take a look in the chat. Hello, Laquita. We got a couple people here. Queen. Let's see who else we got in here. All right, so Darnella, thank you for the donation. All right, DID, thank you for the donation. All right, so let me go back down. What's going on, Gary? Tim, what's up, Tim? Always in here, man. Appreciate your support. Tim Thomas, Uh, Andre, what's going on, man? Andre about to blow up, y'all, man. He ain't gonna know us no more, man. When he blow up and get big, man. Just make sure you remember the little people, Andre. Let's see, Amari, thank you for the donation. All right, so again, we just want to keep everything moving. Give me one quick moment. Let me check something real quick. All right, so. All right, so we have to like basically not be fooled by a lot of these things that's kind of like out here to trick us that things are getting better for us, okay? I mean, you can go on the internet and you go to these websites and you will see, somebody that looks like you on the website and they'll put their picture up. But what good is that? We're not getting any money, okay? So we have to get our politics together, because even if we do want to do something in the community, first of all, like a lot of us don't have any wealth that has been passed down to us. So, and a lot of the things that we've been told that will close that wealth gap, these things are not true, and it's not likely to be something. It's something that's smart. Okay, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying don't own a home and pass it down to your kids and have life insurance and things of that nature. But I'm not saying don't do that. But in order to be able to do a lot of these things, we need stability. Okay, so the government in America has like destabilized our community, and so we can't just allow that to just go untreated and just allow the government, because this is the plan. Okay, steal your ancestors, have them build a country, and then just mesh everything in together without paying the descendants of the people who built the country. And then you stay on top and you own everything, and then we just disappear. We eventually disappear and just stay at the bottom. So we're actually on the verge of becoming like the dinosaurs. So if you don't want to be like the dinosaur and become extinct, then we need to really do something, and we actually need to do it quickly. But in order to do that, we need people, when they speak for us, to be talking the right talk, to be educated with the right information, because there's no way I'm going to meet with the president and come out with nothing. Okay, if I come out with nothing, I'm going to be like, look, this is what he said. This is what I try to get. I'm going to go in there with an agenda. I'm going to go in there with a plan, okay, with something that I could do to make sure that everything. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. Josh is sending me a message. Okay. All right. I appreciate that, Josh. Okay, I got it, brother. Okay, so again, like I'm not going to well, not me because I'm not your leader, okay? Anyone who is going to represent us, okay, has to be willing to put I think everything online. Oh, I can't respect him, or I can't look at him as a true leader. Okay, so you have sometimes, man, when you take that step and you put your foot in that ring, you got to be willing to go them 12 rounds or get knocked out. I mean, it's just as simple as that. So I'm gonna like quickly go through my notes. Does anybody in the chat? Okay, so right, these are the real questions that they don't think about, because okay, so Kara, well, I mean, I guess she's responding to Trey 69. She says, right, these are the real questions that they don't think about, because that what if cures again, there's, I say, Christianity or Christian superiority complex. Okay, Ryan Allen's a billionaire with a white wife, so yeah, I know, I get it, Darnella, and again, let's see, speak on it, read the Bible. So okay, so I'm gonna read a comment here. Terry is saying here, there's no way to literally do all it says. Okay, yeah, so Terry indicated He says there's no way that you can follow this book in its entirety. There's some things in it. There's some principles in it, of course, that are useful. But as far as like teaching it, like I didn't throw mine away. I didn't burn it, because I go into it every now and then because I'm always, making videos and just, trying to make points about certain things to get people to look at things a little bit differently. Most of us are like-minded. So, but I try to reach the people who may not think the way that we do. So man, anyone who knows me, I shake them up. They're shook. Like if you are in my contact list, if you know me as a person, you shook. And that's it. Like I'm gonna like not be. I've never been disrespectful with anyone about any type of conversation that I've had to have with them. But we've had that conversation. Okay, whether it be immediate family, friends, co-workers, and I don't share all of this information with every co-worker. A lot of my co-workers don't even know I'm on YouTube. But I certain ones that I hold close, I'll be like, look here, hey, check this out. Let's talk about this, and then we have the conversation. But as far as like what I've done, I'm just trying to, educate myself more on certain things. Also, just as time goes on, like I say, I'm going into real estate. Like this is the thing. Your leader should be teaching you what he knows. Okay, like he shouldn't be holding information from you that is vital. Let me tell you like this. We're losing on both sides. Okay, we have our young people who are willing to die for a neighborhood, who are willing to die for a street corner, who are willing to die for a street that they don't own, that they're being gentrified in a little bit. They won't have even enough money. They can't even afford to live in the neighborhood anymore. And then on the flip side, we're sending our children to the military, and they are dying for a country that is doing their people wrong. Okay, they're dying for this country's agenda. Okay, they're dying for the person who sent them to do whatever it is that cost them their life. Again, I don't mean any disrespect to the military, but look at some of the leadership that's in the military. There's a Me Too movement in the military. Okay, so a lot of the military superiors actually sexually assault the people that's under them. Okay, and no one wants to talk about that. When we talk about saluting the flag and standing up and supporting the troops, nobody is talking about the Me Too movement in the military. So you got somebody who not your counterparts, but you have your superiors who are using their authority to abuse you sexually. Okay, male and female. Okay, and these ain't just like one or two cases. This is a problem in the military, but no one wants to talk about that though. So we are losing our young people to the streets, okay, and then we're losing our young people to go over and fight for some agenda that they won't even benefit from. We shouldn't even have to go to the military to get. I get the benefits. I get it. If you join up for those benefits, the college fund. The GI Bill or whatever, the financing that you'll get on a home. There's a lot of benefits to being in the military. So I'm not telling anyone not to join, but I mean, when you're talking about going to war and putting your life on the line, come on, you gotta really think about that. Okay, so again, so we just gotta get our people's minds right. So I'm in the third week of these real estate classes. And I'm just like shaking my head. I'm like, I wish I would have known this when I was 20. Okay, I'm in community college taking American history and all of these stupid electives that is not gonna benefit me at all. I could have took 2 real estate classes, learned about real estate, learned everything there is to know about home ownership, learned about short sales, wholesale, all of this stuff that I'm learning right now. Okay. We know Jesus, but we don't know the things that we should know. Okay, again, as I've told you before, if you've seen my videos, I got family who lost a house, know Jesus, didn't know how to keep the house though. These are adults. These not little kids. Family passed away. we're not just in the position that we need to be in because we don't have our people's minds right. So if we're going to these places and we're going to these buildings, the people should be teaching you something valuable, okay, instead of teaching you this useless information that they're teaching you. So family, I'm not gonna hold you guys up, man. I tried to get some. Listen, before I head out, what I want to ask you guys is if you have any topics that you want discussed on the show. Okay, if you have any topics that you want discussed on the show, okay, please reach out. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Y'all sending me another message. If you have any topics that you want to hear discussed on the show, or if you want to come on the show, right now, Kevin is recovering. So I mean, there's a space right now for a lot of you guys who are always in the chat, who are always. I know some of y'all don't want to come out. Hey, I'm gonna open it up for come to the altar. You know how the preacher open it up to come to the altar. Hey, if you want to come out, to the conscious community, come on out. All right. So it's be a coming out party. Okay. So if you want to tell your story, if you want to come on just for a few minutes and discuss anything with any of us, please just reach out to me. I'm on Facebook at Ricky Swink on Facebook. My YouTube page is in the description. Begging the number 4 change. Send me a message. We'll definitely get in contact with you and get you on here. Again, so if you wanted that to be your initial come out, we can definitely do that. Get you on here and let the world know you know where you are. Okay, you done tapped into your common sense. Okay, so again, just to recap some of the information for Kevin, urpopcorn.com. Uncle Ren's going to give 50% to Kevin in his recovery. The BD Evolution, if you want some cool conversation starter gear, definitely there's some, he has backpacks for children, hats, t-shirts, leggings, all of those items and that merchandise is on bdevolution.org. Again, Patreon, if you want a reoccurring support of Kevin on his Patreon page, we definitely want to support that. And let me kind of go back on here and get this information. Josh, where my notes at, man? You done clicked off my notes, bro. All right. All right, so again, the GoFundMe is help defeat stomach cancer. The Patreon is Kevin Wesley. You can do the reoccurring $2 or $5 reoccurring donation. It's a monthly charge. And then the PayPal is Kevin Wesley 1. And then Cashapp is $ Kevin D Wesley 1. So you can donate to the brother. We appreciate all of the donations that came through. We want to close with Kevin's moniker. One candle does not lose its flame by lighting another. And you know what I always say, the only gods that we need is each other. And the only God that I need is you. I thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I want to send you out. Whatever you're doing, safe travels. LaShawn's on the road. So I hope you get to your destination safely. And we're going to say goodnight, fam. Oh, man, Andre said the doors of the atheist auditorium are now open. All right.